Hey everybody, how we doing? Well, you know what? If you're going to rotational graze, there are two things you really need to do that. Grass and rain to make it grow. And lately, we haven't been getting any of the rain to make it grow. Matter of fact, if I listen to my local weatherman, he said May was the driest month in recorded history. So the girls are out here. We're moving them around, but you can't do the normal rotation that you'd normally do. And the main reason is there just isn't enough grass. So you're going to have to do a few supplemental things. That's what we're going to talk about today, is what we're going to do to make up for lack of rain, which gives us lack of grass. Let me show you before we go too far. I want to come down here. As you can see, the grass, you can tell when they like something, they eat it down. You can kind of see that, but you can see this has been eaten down pretty good. But if I just turn around and go across the fence, you can see what's across the fence. That's what it would be. That's what they're grazing it down. But they're only on these things for like a day or two, and I'm moving them. But like I said, the local weatherman said the month of May we had, I think, he recorded 0.17 of an inch of rain, which is the, as they said, least they've ever had in the month of May. They've had some since. I've been kind of missing. So I haven't been doing much of anything, but the girls are out here, the lambs are out here. And what we're going to have to start doing is we're going to have to start supplementing just a little bit. And the main reason is, well, technically, I think there's two reasons that you really need to supplement right now, and that's what we're going to go over. Now, there are, in my opinion, two main reasons we're going to do some supplementing as far as the feed is concerned. One, pasture. We can't let them get to the point where we start getting this, where we really start getting it eaten down. They're going to take what they like. They're going to eat what they like the best. They're going to leave the other. So they're going to overeat some areas and not eat as much in others. So if we want to save our pasture so we don't ruin it, we can't leave them too long. You're going to have to give them breaks every once in a while. And you can only rotate so much, but if the grass doesn't grow, what are you going to do? Well, you're going to have to supplement some hay. And we'll get into what we're doing there. The second thing I think we need to do right now, most of these lambs are 9, 10, 11 weeks old. They're going to be weaned here in a couple weeks. You know, sometimes they get that gangly stage, that teenager stage a little bit. They're not getting much from mom. All right, mom's not giving them much milk at this point in time because they're getting close to weaning anyway. So basically it's grain, and I don't feed a lot of grain, or the grass. And if the grass isn't growing, and I would wager the nutritional level of this grass isn't nearly as good as it was 2, 3, 4 weeks ago. So to me, this is an important time to make sure those lambs have as much and as good a nutrition as they can. So when they go into weaning, when you wean them, you're always going to stress them. You're going to be stressed a little. That's going to be hard on them. That's when you can lose them. That's when they can get sick. So you don't want to stress them any more than you have to. So in my opinion, that means I'm going to start feeding them some alfalfa here off a round bale for the next 2 weeks before I wean them. That way I hopefully wean them in as good a condition as I possibly can. I don't think they'll be in as good a condition if I just let them eat the grass out here. So in order to get them in good condition, we're going to feed them some extra hay. Some people might say, hey, let's give them some extra grain. I'm not saying the way I'm doing it's right. I'm just saying that's the way I'm doing it. Some people might go for, let's give them extra grain. I'm not. I'll keep them the grain just the way they've been getting it. I'll just start feeding them a little alfalfa. Let's get on and I'll show you how I do or what I do with that. All right, so what are we gonna do for supplementals? Well, I had a leftover round bale that I'd hoped was gonna last me to use it this fall, but I guess we're gonna get into it early now. I've got another round bale up in the barn, about 15, 18 inch diameter, leftover round bale. When I wean here in a couple weeks, all the wean babies end up in the catch pen area and a small little dry lot outside of that. I leave them there until they get picked up. So I thought, fine, I'll be able to use that hay, feed everybody for a couple weeks until everybody's gone. And at that time, I'll probably have a few ram lambs left, and I'll move them down here. So that was the intent. But with the pasture lacking, I want to make sure those lambs are getting something good. So I got out that round bale, got it set and ready to go. Now the way I do this, and again, this is my way of doing it, I lock everybody here in the dry lot overnight. They're locked in here in the dry lot. I can't say I don't have a predator problem, but yet again, I can lay in bed at night and hear the coyotes. So I like to have these lambs in tight. That makes it tough because we've been a lot of 90-degree days. They don't want to go out and eat during the day. I'm going to hang you up here. They want to stay inside and stay in the shade, stay near the water. So they go out and feed first thing in the morning. I open the gate about 6:30. They go out, they spend an hour or so, they come back. And a lot of times they'll go back out again, but they might not go out in the afternoon. About 4 in the afternoon is usually when I give some grain. So I usually give them some grain. If they want to have a shot to go back out in the evening, they can do that. So that's where we're changing a little. Put them out in the morning. I'm going to keep rotating them around as I always have. But after I feed at 4 o'clock, I'm going to lock the gate. Now, it's still at the heat of the day at 4 o'clock, and maybe that's not the best time to feed grain. I don't know, it's the time I do it. But I'm not going to give them their hay at that time. Usually by about 8 o'clock or so, this dry lot pen is now in the shade and it's starting to cool off a little bit. So at that time, I'm going to come back out and I'm going to give them some alfalfa hay here about 8 o'clock at night, or just when they're in the shade and it's trying to start to cool down just a little bit. That's what we'll keep doing until we at least get some rain. Like I said, you may plan your rotational grazing. You may say, I'm going to rotate, I'm going to keep down parasites, I'm going to have the grass grow, and I'll get more out of my pastures. It's a great idea when it works, but you know what? If it doesn't rain, it doesn't work, and you can't do that. So you got to be a little flexible. We'll just keep moving them around. We'll give them a little hay. May not be something you like to do, another expense. But as I said, I want these lambs in the very best condition they can be in when I go to wean them. So that way they won't have to be worried about the bothered with the stress of the weaning. They'll handle that a whole lot better. So a couple weeks, we'll get everybody in. You got to get the guys in here. Get everybody in there. And I think we're going to, I got help coming. We're going to do a measurement on Stony. And the reason I want to measure him, I don't think he is yet, but here's a picture of a ram that just went Gold Star. I just saw it in the notices that he went Gold Star. From where he came from, I think he's out of the same sire that Stony is out of. I think they have the same sire. And if you can look at them, the horns are kind of the same. So the ram on the left is the one that's Gold Star. So you got to ask, how far off is Stony? Is he getting close? I don't know. But I thought, you know what? We're going to get everybody in. We got to get everybody vaccinated in a couple of weeks. So I thought, hey, we'll put a tape on him while we got him and see what we come up with and go from there. So probably next video will be weaning video. Everybody in, lambs weaned, use CDT shot, ram CDT shot. The lambs get their second CDT shot. And I do have one ewe out here I noticed needs her feet trimmed. My daughter will love doing that. But we'll get the feet trimmed on one. Most of them don't look too bad. The only thing about this hard clay ground, it kind of helps with keeping those feet down. That helps. We don't have a lot of trimming to do on them, so that's kind of helpful. All right, that's all I got for now. Hey, if anybody can help me get some rain, I'd appreciate it. And we'll see you in a couple weeks.